He said, Dr. Damina is busy knocking down all over the place the prosperity gospel. And he says, if a man is knocking down the prosperity gospel, he must be a bastard. Huh? He said, because the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob made Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob rich. You cannot claim that that is your God and you are poor. What? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were not rich financially because God made them rich. They were already rich before they met God. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob means Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob believed in the promise and they were made righteous. And the man mischievously said that there are more verses in the Bible on money than even the sacred things that we hold dear to our faith. I'm not joking, it's on video. That the Bible has more verses on money. That look at all the parables of Jesus. That is a man whom Mammon has blinded his eyes. When the Bible spoke about money, what was the context in which each of those money things were taught? Jesus was using parables to talk about what people were familiar with, to bring a lesson that he is the treasure that has appeared. But when Mammon has blinded a man, that man never sees anything in the Bible other than money. How were the scriptures on money explained? What did Jesus say about money? His emphasis was beware of covetousness. Read for me, PJ, Luke chapter 12 verse 15. Luke chapter 12 verse number 15.
And he said unto them, take heed and beware of covetousness. For a man's life consisteth not in the abundance of the things which he possesses. This is Jesus. A man's life does not consist in the abundance of things which he possesses. What shall it profit a man to gain all the money in the world and lose his soul? What about people that were poor in the Bible and they're in heaven today? People like Lazarus. Are they bastards? You also forget that Esau that was not blessed was richer than Jacob that was blessed. Esau was richer than Jacob. In fact, when Jacob saw Esau coming, he started looking for help because he thought Esau would kill him. Because Esau had soldiers, about 400 soldiers following him, when Jacob didn't have much. So a man can be blessed by God, but is materially poor. The blessing of God is not money. The blessing of God is the forgiveness of sins. No wonder Jesus said, beware of covetousness. For a man's life does not consist in the abundance of things he possesses. What about Hebrews 13 verse 5? Give me the amplified. Hebrews chapter 13 verse 5. Amplified version, PJ. Hebrews 13 5. Let your character or moral disposition be free from love of money, including greed, avarice, lust, and craving for earthly possessions, and be satisfied with your present circumstances and with what you have. For he, God himself, has said, I will not in any way fail you, nor give you up, nor leave you without support. I will not in any degree leave you helpless, nor forsake.
Isn't that a blessing? He says, be free from love of money, including greed, avarice, lust, and craving for earthly possessions, and be satisfied. Be contented with what you have. That gospel that they are trying to sell is a gospel of greed, a gospel of avarice, and a gospel that makes you never content. And that's not the gospel of Christ. The gospel of Christ is godliness with contentment is great gain. No wonder Paul kept saying, a man that is always preaching a transactional and material gospel, he said, from such stay away, because they are destitute of the truth. But godliness with contentment is great gain. For it is certain we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain that we will take nothing out of this world. Therefore, having food and clothes to wear, let us therewith be content. Am I blessing you this morning?
Now, like I've always said, and I've made this very, very clear in most of my videos, that I am not a member of any denomination, right? And there is no need for someone to think that I am against a particular preacher, and in favor of my own preacher. No. I have said before, I was from a Catholic background. My parents are all Catholic, and we went to church when I was way more younger, and I went to Sunday school, and I was taught in Sunday school that the love of money is the root of all evil, which now when I think about it, I'm like, what a fool I have been. You must understand me, right? Because just look at it this way. Someone tells you that the love of money is the root of all evil, while at the same time collecting from you. You know, I still have trauma, right? When I tell people, they are like, bro, listen, you have to let this go, okay? You just have to let this go. Listen, this is where my trauma is. I remember when I was way younger, right? And then we will have to wake up very early in the morning. You know, we from Africa, right? And then we will have to go to the farm. My mother was a farmer. My father was a farmer. But even though my father has a job, but he was like a part-time farmer. So we go to farm on weekends to help my parents and stuff like that, right? So we have to get up. Sometimes the farms are really too far from where we live, and we need to get up like really like early, something like 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. to go to the farm to work, you know, to be able to have something to eat, right? And then we will go to the farm and we will harvest our crop and we will come back home. And on Sunday, we will take the crop to the church and give it to a man of God. That same man of God, the priest in the church, we call them Reverend Fathers, right? They wake up in the morning, they had a luxurious breakfast to eat, right? They take a bath, right? They dress nicely, they had good sandals, they had expensive watches, they had a car to drive, and I have to give them my own thing, my own food that I have struggled to get. Now listen, I am not against giving, okay? I am not against giving. I think that giving is a very, very good virtue to have. But my point was, I cannot or I shouldn't be giving to people who have 10 fingers or 2 hands and 2 legs, and they could fend for themselves. You know, they could work and earn all by themselves. Why should I give to them? That was my main point. But you know, back then, it was something I did with a lot of joy and pride. I was an altar boy, and it was really, really fun. You know, it was a very interesting experience to have. And I can't say for sure it was all horrible or bad, but all I can say is that when I think about it, I'm like, I was a big fool. But anyway, that's in the past, okay? That's in the past. But right now, I think that many other people out there are still falling victims to things like this, right? They struggle so hard, and you can imagine how difficult our society has become and how people need to work 2 or 3 times harder in order to get something to eat. And you can imagine a Reverend Father just sitting there reading his Bible, and then I have to give my thing to them. And you see them building churches, building huge buildings that doesn't even serve the common person. That is wrong, you know, that is wrong. And religion has become something that the so-called preachers have used to compete with one another. I sometimes think that it has lost its purpose, that the way the preachers and the Christians have practiced it has made it lost its purpose. It is not that thing that cares for the common person. It is not that thing that was supposed to be out there looking out for common people. It's not that thing that was supposed to be taking care of the widow and the needy. No, it's not. It has become a source of income for some men of God. It has become an insurance policy for some men of God. And it has become something that some people have used to elevate themselves, to make themselves look more supernatural. And that is why you will see a preacher will come out and said, if you criticize them, God will punish you. How is that even possible? I have no idea. I honestly and sincerely have no idea how would God punish me for criticizing someone who is doing something that is totally wrong. And I asked them this question, and I'm sorry for have derailed too far. I'm sorry for that, but I asked this question. Most of you guys out there, because I see comments like this in my comment section a lot, people saying that the wrath of God will be for you, or God will punish you for saying this or that, or touch not my anointed and do my prophet no harm, or don't judge others so that you may not be judged. And I'm like, okay. And this one is very important. Judgment is for the Lord. Who are you to judge men of God? God is the only one who is allowed, or who has the ability, or who has the liberty to judge men of God. And you know who are saying all these things? The men of God themselves. They are the one saying all this. And I'm like, okay, you are a man of God. You are a horrible person. You are stealing from vulnerable people in the society. You promise something to them, maybe a prosperity thing to them, and you have prospered, but they haven't. In other words, you have cheated them. And how can God punish me for pointing out all these flaws in you? How can? So do you think that God doesn't have a brain of his own? And remember, you have claimed that your God is an almighty. He knows everything. He's the Alpha and the Omega. He's the beginning and the end. So if your God is always knowing and never lacking, don't you think that your God knows your heart and knows your intentions? And how can the God punish people who call you out for your horrible characters? How come? How come? But anyway, stories for another day. Now, let me hear your thing in the comment section below. After hearing what the man of God, Dr. Abel Damina, who is one of my most favorite preachers, have said, what do you think? And I know people have criticized him like a lot, that he used to preach the same prosperity doctrine or gospel that he is now against. So with that knowledge in mind, let us hear your own thought and opinion in the comment section below, because like always, we love hearing what you have to say. And please like the video, share it, follow us on Facebook, subscribe to this channel, because that helps us a lot. Remember, like I said before, this is a community that we are trying to build, and everyone's participation is very, very necessary. Let us together educate people, one person at a time. So thanks for all the love and support. And like always, see you in the next one.